you were just asking me about the sequencer. I've never used the sequencer in the MemoryMoog, and I think when I first got this thing, I got it used like back in 1990 or something. I've had this for a long time. I think I tried to figure out how to use it, and it was just so obtuse that I completely just gave up. And it's pretty much useless anyway. And I've got a third-party modification in it that unfortunately takes up the sequencer memory. So even if I want to use the sequencer now, this other MIDI mod takes all that. So there's no sequencer in this one.
Got it.
It just says sequencer. It's a lie. It doesn't actually have a sequencer.
False advertising. Don't believe the hype. Don't believe the hype.
Yeah, totally don't believe it. But
so ooh, that's nice.
Auto-tune. That's what that's for.
Oh, so you hit okay.
And it'll go through and calculate the offsets. Once you set the scaling, you have to do that in hardware, but once you set the scaling, it's smart enough to go through and calculate the offsets for each voice. So hopefully...
Okay, so it's kind of...
So the combination of the 3 oscillators per voice plus that filter design is really one thing that makes this special. And they designed into the mixer what was originally a flaw in the MemoryMoog, that you could actually overdrive the mixer portion of it and get this nice distortion.
Okay.
And they designed that into this thing. So you're actually hearing just a little bit of a... and you can bring it down in a moderate level so all that goes away. Or this thing will do. One bad thing about this thing is it takes forever to warm up. That Obi, before we started taping that, I think it had been on for about 10 minutes, and it was pretty solid. And I turned the Prophet on at the same time. I think I had to tune it once, and we locked it in pretty well. This thing has been on now for like 20 minutes, and it's still...
Oh, wow. There it goes.
And it'll finally catch up with us, but it's...
So it would be accurate to say that this is like 6 MemoryMoogs stacked together, essentially?
The original design brief was to stack 6 MemoryMoogs together.
Wow.
And the way it's laid out inside, there are 6 boards about yay big here that are all one voice over MemoryMoog.
Wow.
Yeah. They didn't use, on the Mini they are discrete oscillators and discrete filters. In this, they used Curtis chip oscillators. They're all 3340s, which is the same thing that's in the Prophet, and it's the same thing that's in the Prophet 5 and in the Ollie Oberheim stuff. So they went that way for the oscillators, but for the filters they actually put discrete filters in it. Yeah, this thing is just a nightmare of design flaws. I mean, they are running. It's got like, let's see, we said 24 oscillators plus, I'm forgetting other stuff, plus I'm totally blanking. This thing is chock full of like 36 Curtis chips, which at this point are almost they're obtainable, but they're expensive and they're hard. And when they designed this thing, they designed the power supply to be running the Curtis stuff, the 15-volt thing, all the way at the edge of their range.
Right.
Which is like ticket to burning out chips.
Oh, I see.
Generally, don't do that. And they did. It may or may not be one reason the thing sounds so amazing is that it really is in reality this close to blowing up at any given time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, literally.
Wow.
But yeah, so they're a bear to work on, and they sound gorgeous. And I really hope the new Moog, as evidenced by this machine, decides to reinvent the MemoryMoog the same way they did the Taurus pedals, because they did a brilliant job on the Taurus pedals.
Do you know, are they planning on doing that by any chance? Or?
I do not know.
No telling.
I wish I had that information, but I do not.
Any idea how many of these things were made?
Well, this is serial number. It's like 35 something, and I've seen serial numbers up into the 43s.
Okay.
So, I'm guessing 45. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. Keeping in mind, this was at the end of Moog's corporate lifetime.
Right.
I mean, this was almost the last thing they did. They did a little sequencer package for the Commodore 64 that's just dreadful. And we're doing, like, at that point they were owned by a holding company, and we're getting into, like, office telephones and the sound effects for those dome air hockey machines and
right.
just wacky stuff, desperately trying to keep the company afloat. The DX7 basically came in and just slaughtered them. Right. Just killed them. And didn't see it coming and didn't know how to react, and boom, done. So yeah, I don't know for certain how many of these were done, but I have seen serial numbers up into the 4300s of them.